he comes to a P. Diddy party. This is what happens to the white man.
Not a single celebrity has come out to defend Diddy. Not one.
This way. Right here.
The big K, the little K's.
Hey Cassie, how are you? How do you feel about all the allegations with Diddy going on right now?
I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proof, things that I could say that will back up my claim.
Photo of Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura since his arrest for the shocking allegations inside this 14-page indictment.
He's infamous for his parties, Billy. You and I know that. We cover the entertainment industry. His white parties in the Hamptons, which means that nearly every celebrity in the world has been to his homes or has been to his events.
I'm sure we all want to know what happened at Puff Daddy's exclusive white parties, the birthday bashes, the freak-offs, and goodness knows what else. Well, short of breaking an NDA, I've got the scoop for you today. There's this former Playboy model that claims she was at a freak-off, and it had a soundtrack, J-Lo's music, which, very interesting. So her name is Rachel Kennedy, and she says it all went down in Japan back in the year 2000 when she was with a couple of friends and they met Puffy at a topless club, and he invited them back to his hotel suite. And folks, if you're wondering why that year is relevant, that's right in the middle of when Puffy and J-Lo were the hottest couple in the music industry. The Let's Get Loud singer dated Puff Daddy for about 2 years. So between 1999 to 2001, Puffy was J-Lo's date to the Grammy Awards in 2000. The one where she wore the iconic Versace dress, the reason we have Google images. So for this freak-off to happen in the year 2000, kind of notable. Sorry, going back to our witness, so Kennedy said she thought she was going to like a normal party, like a regular hangout. But when she arrived, the only person in the room was Puffy in a bathrobe. She said that she and her friends did some no-no snow. Puffy did not. She and one friend went into a bedroom with him. He stripped down and they gave him consensual oral for about 20 minutes. When they walked into the hotel room, there was a music video playing on the TV, by the way, and it was just J-Lo singing. She doesn't remember what song it was, but it was like a video on a loop. And apparently, Puff Daddy was on the phone with J-Lo at the time. Now, this kind of ties back into J-Lo being adamant that she knew he was cheating on her. She said, and I quote, "I was in this relationship with Puff where I was totally crying, crazy, and going nuts. It really took my whole life in a tailspin." Now, she mentioned this back in 2003. And even though she technically never caught him, she was sure he was cheating on her with other women. She honestly said, "I never caught him, but I just knew. He'd say he was going to a club for a couple of hours and then never come back that night. It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I was in this relationship where I was totally crying, crazy, and going nuts." So news outlets do report that like J-Lo doesn't, shy away from saying that she was going crazy. She went to hotels, she would knock on doors. She said, "I can't remember right now, but I won't say it didn't happen." And she said like that's why she left Puff Daddy. She had to think, does she want to be home in 10 years wondering where somebody is at 3 in the morning? So if we're gonna go back to the freak-off party, because I know that's what you want to know about today, after 20 minutes into the encounter, so the consensual stuff, Puffy's bodyguard came into the room and was kind of ticked off because he recognized one of the girls as the woman he was with the night before. And then he got physical, but apparently Puffy didn't get involved. He was just sitting there doing as you do. And that's all we know about that encounter. Let's talk about some other folks that have been at Puffy's party, shall we? Marlon Wayans, a frequent guest at Puffy parties, said, "I've never witnessed anything illegal," but he also said he usually left early. So when you think about it, if you're an early bird and not a night owl, maybe you didn't see anything. There was video clips recently that showed Khloe Kardashian bragging about partying with Puffy. This was in an old episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I think it aired in 2014, so about 10 years ago now. And it showed her catching up with her sister, Kourtney, and she was talking about this wild party that she went to with a bunch of her friends, including Puff Daddy, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. Later in the episode, the girls were bowling, and she was like, "Yeah, like I haven't been to bed yet. I got on a plane at 5 a.m. This party, I think people were like in the nude." Like she was just going on and on. And if you think that was a one-off, nope, no. 2 years later, Khloe invited Puff Daddy to appear on her Cocktails with Khloe series, where she hailed him as a hardworking but eclectic person. She said, "Well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff. We've been known to party with you a few times." And then she turned to Kourtney, who was also in this episode, and was like, "Yeah, you were just at Puffy's birthday." And she's like, "Yeah, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too. Every night." Then it was fun because all the girls ditched me, so it was like me and the boys. It was me, Kanye, Corey, Tyga, and we were all just hanging out and it was fun. I loved it. And once again, the girls continued to heap praise on Puff Daddy, saying, I don't know how you have all the energy, but that's who you are, and that's why people are so drawn to you, because you're so eclectic. No matter what, no matter how much you work, you don't sleep, you don't do anything, but that's just you. And the friendship still going strong 3 years later. Khloe posted pictures beside Puff Daddy and her siblings on December 16th of 2019. This was a photo posted on Instagram, and it was commemorating the Celeb Pact 50th birthday party. So come on, girl, where's your commentary? Now, there are news outlets that have claimed Kim Kardashian was among folks who unfollowed Puff Daddy on Instagram, but she hasn't said anything about the speculation. And once again, going back to all these Instagram posts, Khloe Kardashian said, nothing like a Puffy party. Now, we do have to say nobody in the famous family has been linked to any of the allegations that Puff Daddy is facing, but they haven't spoken out following his arrest. They've been fawning over him for years, and his parties, so what did you see, girls? So there was a clip from a 1999 interview with Entertainment Tonight that went kind of viral lately. That's where Puffy is openly talking about his white parties. And he said, they don't want me to party anymore. He said, but we're not gonna stop. We will continue to have fun, to unite people from all walks of life. And he made a prediction. This man saw the future. He said, you will hear about my holidays. They're going to shut them down. Maybe they're going to arrest me. They're gonna do all kinds of crazy things just because we want to have a good time. Now, no. Okay. He said, and I quote, whenever you bring a different element into people's environment, things that broaden people's horizons, people get intimidated. It's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated by it. I think we have different ideas of broadening people's horizons, but sure. He also joked about his tactics for keeping women from ditching his get-togethers. I believe this was in a 2002 episode of Late Night with Conan. So when asked how to throw an amazing party, he was like, women, beautiful women, of course. Beautiful men for the ladies, of course. Okay, I get it, of course. He said, you need some water. I don't know if guys have noticed this, but a lot of ladies drink water at parties. So if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. Gotta keep them there, need locks on the door. Now, when Conan O'Brien kind of piped up, because he was like, that sounds kind of dangerous, and not only that, sounds illegal, Puffy was like, nah, it's not. It was a little fun, but not dangerous. So as allegations continue to surface about these infamous parties, it actually might be a while before we get all the details. Turns out a lot of the attendees over the years were forced to sign NDAs. And apparently it was like a pretty standard agreement. The signed contract says that party attendees can't share information about Puff Daddy, about partners, family members, friends, business associates, so pretty much if you saw him or somebody that works for him there, you can't talk about it, you can't photograph any of these parties, you can't film or record anything without written consent, which explains why all the photos we have online are very much like posed photos. And also the document names social media platforms where you can't post photos or videos of the Bad Boy founder without permission. You also can't give an interview, you can't write a book, you can't discuss anything that you saw or participated in at the parties. So it kind of covers anything that could get the rapper into trouble. Don't worry, folks, the NDA does expire. It's only valid for the entirety of Puffy's life, plus 20 years or 70 years, whichever's longer. Yeah, okay, as dramatic as I am, it is a boilerplate NDA, but the basic gist of it is, if you attend to those parties, you need the written consent to say anything. And nobody's saying anything and nobody's getting disbarred yet. So that might explain why former Puffy BFF Ashton Kutcher is staying silent. That friendship or relationship is kind of uncomfortable when you think about it. Apparently, Ashton should have known to stay away a long time ago because Puffy warned him that things could go sideways. That threat goes back to the days of Punk'd. We all remember. You remember MTV, right? Back when Ashton Kutcher hosted a prank show from 2003 to 2007. This show was gonna pull pranks on normal people until there was a prank involving a whole corpse that was a whole $10 million lawsuit. So then they were like, oh, we're gonna prank celebrities instead. So as Ashton and buddies brainstormed new celebs to prank, somebody was like, hey, what about Puff Daddy? And somehow, through the grapevine, Puff Daddy heard about this and was like, yeah, absolutely not. That's not going to turn out well for you. And then the two became fast friends. When Ashton Kutcher did an episode of Hot Ones a couple years back, he was asked like, hey, what can you tell us about this friendship? And what can you tell us about, the parties? And he said, can't tell that story. Can't tell that one either. It might be about time that you want to tell those stories about. And that's all for today, folks. See you next time.